So my name's Kevin. I'm a leading autism campaigner in the UK, and we've got a special guest with us tonight. We've got Maxi and Beni Bear. So Maxi, do you want to introduce yourself and tell us who you are and about the bear?
Of course, I'm Maxi. I run the Beni Bear Club in Swindon in Wiltshire. We work with children with different disabilities and conditions. We bring them together in a social club and bring them together in education and play, doing things from arts and crafts through to first aid courses, and teach them all through our little mascot here, which is Beni, who's saying hi, how to do things like dial 999 and be aware of personal safety.
Yeah, which we've met before because we met recently at the Autism Show. So thanks for joining me tonight, and we'll be going to be doing another interview next Monday, won't we? We'll be doing an interview on cyber safety.
That's actually part of our club night. It's for the adults. So whilst we've got the children, we've got the police in with them. So they're going to be arresting Beni and teaching them all about how to stay safe and be aware of strangers and things like that with their vulnerabilities. We'll be doing a workshop with the parents and letting them really know what to look out for when their child is online. Certainly if a child who has autism who is already withdrawn, the things to look out for with them. So thank you for doing that for us.
Oh no, much appreciated, and thank you for joining me tonight. So in tonight's interview, we're going to talk a little bit about internet trolls and trolling online. So what experience has any of your members received with internet trolls?
I haven't heard of anything personally. I mean, I've been bullied most of my life for being overweight or being a little bit different, for being a goth. I've had that held against me. There has been, I wouldn't necessarily say internet trolling. However, I know of internet comments that have gone round about me for the fact that I run a charitable company that works with children, yet I don't have any. And apparently that seems to be a bit of a problem for some people, because obviously I don't, to them, understand what it's like to have a child or even have a child with a disability. So the fact that I've grown up around it and I've always worked with children through one medium or another, that may have problems. Apparently me not having children is a big issue. Go figure.
Yeah, so that's what we come across with internet trolls. Just in the news today, Katie Price's son Harvey has been aggressively trolled on Twitter and also on Instagram, where it's just been absolutely horrific. And there's been 3 national news stories out today at the Metro, the Sun, and the Daily Express as well, and also on the Mail Online as well, where Harvey's been imposted, he's been impersonated. Now, this is a young person living with autism who can't actually fend for himself or speak up. So what's your opinion on that, Maxi, where, Katie Price's son has been, heavily, aggressively trolled, and obviously his mother speaking up for him, but he can't speak up as a child with autism?
To be honest, I think it's disgusting in this day and age. I know the social media is out there and a lot of people say, well, if you're a celebrity and you put yourself out there and you put your personal experiences out there, then you are open to criticism. However, when you have a child that has a severe disability like Harvey does, he can't fend for himself, in the sense of he can't go online and speak up for himself. He can't defend what's wrong with him. He knows no different. And I think the general public need to understand that picking on somebody who has a disability is like picking on somebody who, for the colour of their skin, it's no different. Racism's not allowed in this country, even though it happens. And I don't think that cyberbullying through a celebrity of all people who has a child with a problem, who's trying to get information out there about conditions such as autism, and she has campaigned in the past for Harvey's condition. I think that somebody to then go and do what they've done today, it's just disgusting, and it beggars belief, really, that somebody in this day and age would do such a thing.
So what do you think the social media platforms should be doing?
I think there needs to be more control. I know through talking to yourself that you've had experience of being trolled online, that your Twitter account was hacked. I've been lucky. I'm not that. Everything that I do comes through this little one, and no one's really going to impersonate a teddy bear. So I don't have experience of that personally. But as far as social media bullying, I think things like, platforms like Facebook, Twitter, any of them really need to step up, monitor what's been going on, control it a little bit more, and maybe have a team put together that says, this day and age, in the States, they had a thing where their telephone calls were being controlled. And we know that in the UK, if certain phrases are used on a text message, then, the police are notified if you use certain words. Why are these controls not in place? Should something come up on Twitter or something come up on social media where somebody who cannot defend themselves is being trolled in such a way? I just don't get it. There's ways of doing things, but I don't understand why it's not being done.
Yeah, I quite agree. There should be special filters and places, and where messages can be actually blocked out or removed, or if there's a message posted or a tweet, it can be actually deactivated or deleted straight away. So yeah, with this impostering, what's going on with Katie's son, I think it's, like you say, as you just mentioned, it's absolutely horrific that he's have to endure this. And I personally think that the police should be tracking down and tracing these offenders and arresting and then jailing them. What do you think? Sorry, go on.
I was just going to say, doesn't it make you wonder if somebody who's got the profile that Katie Price does in this country, and how, I was watching her on TV the other day, and she has certainly changed from her Jordan persona to the lady, and quite classy she's become recently. I wouldn't say, I know a lot of people will turn around and go, no, she's not. But if you look at her 10, 15 years ago to where she is now, she has done a complete 180. So if somebody who is her high profile, as well known as she is, can get trolled on the internet and nothing can be done about it, imagine if that's somebody in Joe Public whose son, whose daughter is not high profile, but they've put something out there about it to raise awareness, and then something like this happens. If somebody high profile can't get support, what support do the rest of us have?
Well, that's it. Sadly for me, it's been 3 years now, and the impostering and the impersonation and the abuse which is going on now. At the moment, it's cyber mobbing. So the trolls who are out there, just a clear message for you. I'm not really interested. You can type away on your keyboard as long as you want, and you're basically just wasting your time. And what's your thoughts about these keyboard warriors, Maxi, where they just type about all day, just constantly and aggressively? It's just
you really
unbelievable.
Want my honest opinion?
Yes, you go for it.
I think, and feel free, anybody on YouTube who wants to go for this, feel free to come and find me somewhere and have an open discussion about this. But I think if you're going to sit behind a keyboard and not confront a person directly and ask a question where there is open and honest debate, whether you agree with what's been said or not, I think if you're going to sit behind a keyboard and tap away and insult somebody, one, you are spineless, and two, get up off your backside and go and get a job.
Thank you. I actually like that terminology, spineless, and get off your bum. I was going to say something else then. Get off your...
Right, Beni said it for you.
Yeah, get off your bum and get a job. Because, these people are, at the end of the day, they are trolls, they are venomous, and they have nothing better else to do just to cause...
And where do they find the time?
Well, that's it.
Where do they find the time? I mean, I work a full-time job, I run a charity, I have very little time on social media at the best of times. But even when I do, I don't have time to sit on Twitter and troll somebody to make a comment.
What's up?
Okay, so I'll just open the CT. We've got somebody coming in now who's going to give their thoughts as well on this. So we hope that it's not a troll, because if it is a troll, we'll block you straight away. So greater than ever beef.
Then you know how to deal with them.
Sorry, go ahead.
Block them straight away.
Yeah, that's really good. Block them straight away. But with people like Katie Price, whose son is Harvey, he's got autism. He can't speak up for himself. He can't fend for himself. So, obviously he can't do that on social media. And, even though when you block somebody on Twitter, they can still be in the
My kitty is
in the
scratching a box
social
over
media
here.
platform.
That was what that noise was. Yeah. So you're saying for autistic people, how can they deal with trolls?
Yeah. So what's your opinion on
I've
that?
never thought of it. Never thought of that before. Get back to me. I'll get back to you on that one.
Okay. So thanks for joining me.
Yeah,
Can you just tell me who
I don't
you
really
are
want to
and
give out
where
my
you're
real
from?
name, but I'm from California.
Okay. So
Well, there's different
what's
kinds
your
of
opinion
trolls.
on trolls?
There's like let's say like Hillary Clinton. I wouldn't mind if Hillary Clinton got trolled. Like that'd be funny. Jeb Bush gets trolled. That'd be funny. If you troll autistic people, that's not funny to me. So yeah, so there's different kinds of trolls. There's good trolls, there's bad trolls, and most of them are useless trolls.
But at the end of the
Well,
day,
I don't know
nobody
if
should be
that's true.
trolling anybody, period.
Satire.
You know, whether
No, I think
whether
it's
they're
okay
good
to
people or
disrupt
bad
bad people.
people. Okay, so there we go. Maxi, we had an interesting opinion
Unfortunately, I
there.
didn't hear much of it. I was getting a lot of like static effect.
Yeah, so that person who just came on said it was okay to troll good people or bad
Yeah,
people.
trolling is
I
just
certainly disagree
bullying.
with that.
At the end of the day, you would
Yeah,
stand
it's
up for
bullying at the end of the day.
somebody. You know, if Hitler was about these days and he got trolled, people would still have a problem with it. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter if somebody is considered good or bad, and this is just my opinion. If somebody is considered good or bad, and I think I heard Hillary Clinton was given there as an example, I think we have to understand people view us all day, every day. We don't know how they view us. I don't care how anyone views me. If they want to have a bad opinion of me, go for it. But people who are in the public eye, take, for example, Katie Hopkins. We all have an opinion on Katie Hopkins. Love her or hate her, she's out there doing a job and she's making
Hello,
money.
Katie.
Hi, Katie, if you're watching. Yeah. And he says hi, come and have a go. At the end of the day, she's out there making money, and she is making money by upsetting people online, in the media, and on the news. That's what she gets paid to do. What I think of her as a character, and I use that in the general term, of what she does in the media against who she is as a person and a mother, doesn't matter. At the end of the day, if you are having a go at that person, you are insulting somebody's personal feelings. The hassle and the things that I've seen going around on social media about Donald Trump. I'm not in the country. I don't really have an open, honest opinion about their politics because I'm not an American citizen. I know what's going on. I know things. My opinion doesn't matter. I don't get to vote. But at the same token, much as we may all think he's an idiot or we may love him, he is still a person with feelings. So I don't care if it's somebody considered bad. I don't care if it's somebody considered disabled or Joe Blog on the public corner who's got nothing wrong with them. At the end of the day, cyberbullying is the same as bullying any person with feelings in this society, and in my opinion, it's wrong.
Yeah. So, you know, just coming back to the troll messaging, when some people obviously highly criticize people, you know, I don't mind people if somebody wants to criticize me or give me any critiques, that's fine. You know, people can go for it. But when it comes to the point when some of these trolls criticize, but criticize in a very nasty, venomous way. I can't actually repeat any of the words today, which some messages I've had on Twitter, but they've been absolutely horrific, too horrific to actually broadcast on air because they've been that bad. But obviously these messages have been screenshot captured and evidence for the police. Because at the end of the day, you know, people should not be trolling.
No, and at the end of the day, you
full
know,
stop.
There's been a lot in social media of, dare I say, unsavory characters who have maybe targeted children. and that is a whole different topic I'm not going to get into. But we all know what I'm referring to. At the end of the day, you don't know who these people are. You are a genuine person. I have met you. I've shaken your hand. I know that you are the person behind that profile picture. As of today, everyone knows who I am. Hello. But most of the time, I hide behind Beni. He is my mascot. He is the one that is the face of my charity. So people don't know who I am necessarily unless they know me personally and have been involved with what we do. So if Beni was to go out and insult somebody, how do they know who I am? Do they think I'm some sweet, innocent, layabout person? Or do they think I'm a junkie who's on benefits, who doesn't do anything with their life? Or do they think I'm a sophisticated person with an education? At the end of the day, we don't know who these people are. And cyber trolls, to me, are just spineless keyboard warriors. They are nothing else. And it should be stopped. It's stopped. Bullying isn't allowed in playgrounds. It's not allowed in work environments. Why should it be allowed on a social platform that's something where people are meant to enjoy it?
So the new CPS have come up with the new CPS guidelines where I was on BBC National News last Thursday and talking about the new CPS guidelines. What's your thoughts on where somebody, a troll, gets prosecuted by the CPS and jailed, and the sentence is only 2 weeks? Now, recently, it was just a few weeks ago, just up in Manchester, where a young person who was deaf was heavily trolled on the internet, and the CPS, the Crown Prosecution Service, and the police only jailed this troll for 2 weeks. What's your thoughts on that? Do you think it's a tough sentence or not? I think each case should be
treated individually. Having not heard about that, and that's my bad, I think the sentence should be relevant to the crime. At the end of the day, we know that people have committed murder in this country, and again, a subject I'm not going to get into debate over, but people have committed murder in this country and they've been let out. They've got out on parole, good behaviour. So I think because the cyberbullying situation is quite new, and certainly new to the CPS of what they can do about it, and laws and legislations have to be changed. You know for yourself how hard you've campaigned to get things changed. I think because it's quite new, the sentencing around what happens is probably kind of hit and miss, if that's a way of putting it. I can't see why, if there is, in my opinion, if somebody caused the death of another person because their trolling became so bad, then I think they should have some form of cyber ban, that they can, there's ways of doing things. We've all seen it on TV. I work in IT. I know what can and can't be done. And there are ways of banning people from having communication. And I think if it came to that situation, I think banning them from an online world would be far more disruptive to them than maybe sticking them in prison for a couple of weeks and letting them out again.
Sure, yeah. Well, we've got another person who's joining us who's going to be coming in a few seconds. She wants to ask a question. She was saying, wouldn't a person jailed for only a couple of weeks be more likely to retaliate? So she's going to come in. So she's got a good point there. So she'll be coming in and joining us in a few seconds. And that's Durham Skywriter. So hopefully she'll be joining us soon. So we're going to be on air for the next 10 minutes or so, just talking about what we've just been recently talking about, internet trolls and cyberbullying. So just before this other guest join us, Maxi, just tell us what Beni Bear's been up to.
What did we do? What have we done? Well, at the weekend we went to Geek SwinCon. It was kind of a sci-fi fantasy convention thing in Swindon, so he was involved in that. Met a few characters, met some of his Marvel fans. Even met Brian Wheeler, who was very interesting. I don't know if you know who Brian Wheeler is, but he was involved in, I believe, Return of the Jedi, and he was lead Ewok. And he is actually one of the trustees. We got talking to him about what we do. He is a trustee of the cosplay anti-bullying campaign, and the they've got a charity group running for that, and they find that people who want to dress up on their weekends in cosplay and go to conventions are also being trolled and being bullied. And I've seen a lot of it recently online as well, where in particular one girl who was in quite a skimpy outfit, it was to do with the character she was portraying at that convention. She was stood next to the sign for the convention she was at in the States, and somebody got hold of it and changed the name, saying, if I'm dressed like this, I'm asking for it. And that was put all over social media. So Brian Wheeler has been very heavily involved in that, certainly in the UK and the States, about people who do cosplay, for them not to be bullied for doing something that's just a hobby and a bit of fun for them. But yeah, he met Beni, and his pictures all over Facebook with him, and he was quite interested in what we were doing as well. So that was a nice little contact to make.
All right, fantastic. So we've got
Hiya.
Durham Skywriter joining us. Thank you for joining us.
Not too bad. How are you?
Doing fine. Very nice to meet you.
You're very welcome.
I'm wondering when it comes to troll. Well, let me ask my initial question. I'm sorry. I was asking whether a person who was jailed for only a couple of weeks, I figured he'd just be angry and more likely to retaliate, right? He wouldn't
totally
for 2 weeks.
Totally agree. And this is what I was saying about, there are ways of stopping people having communication. There's you can have phone lines cut. You can go to, I work for quite a global telecoms company, and I know that you can have certain buildings stopped having lines put in for communication. You can ban somebody. You can have an alert come up if they try and buy a mobile phone with a Wi-Fi connection.
Wow.
There are ways of doing things. And I think maybe later on, once the CPS has maybe got a bit more of a grasp on what's going on, that maybe if something very serious happens and maybe a death is caused, then that person who caused that should be banned for a certain amount of time, whether it be 25 years, 6 months, whatever, from having social media connections.
Okay. I've never heard of this CPS before.
It's the British Crown Prosecution Service.
See.
Okay.
So it would be, are you from America?
Yes.
It would be the equivalent of your district attorneys.
Oh, okay.
So anyone in America who is prosecuted against something against the state, that's what our CPS do.
Interesting. I don't think that anyone's getting involved in this matter in the USA, at least not yet. Not as far as I can tell. We're pretty much left on our own when it comes to trolls.
Yeah, Durham Skywriter, can I just ask you, thank you, brilliant connection, by the way, and really clear audio and a great picture, so thank you for that. What I wanted to ask, in the States there, obviously you got the First Amendment bill.
Yes.
Yeah. So when people are being trolled or bullied online or heavily criticised, but in a negative way, in a trolling way, how does the First Amendment bill protect people in the US?
Supposedly, you can say whatever the heck you want. You can't harbor threats. You certainly can't. You can't harbor. Rather, you cannot threaten the president of the United States without being arrested. They will go after you if you do that. But as far as ordinary citizens like you and me, you can say anything you would like. However, it's really sad in a way, because the general consensus is that it's almost as if the person who's offended, unfortunately, is accused of being too sensitive very often. And I would rather err on the side of politeness, but then I was brought up very nicely. But I just think that whenever people speak against others, whether it's typing something like on YouTube, Blab, or Periscope, or whether it's something that's said at school, in person, unfortunately, that's allowed. That's allowed. We're taught. Hopefully, people are being taught at the grade school and middle school levels. Are trying to teach the young people not to be mean. But as far as the law is concerned, you can say pretty much anything you want.
So if a child or an adult was, say, for example, bullied or harassed online or being picked on because of their disability? How does the law stand
It's
in
actually
the
pretty
US?
sad. Very often, I really wish kids were stronger, and I wish parents back their children better. But very often, parents don't even know that a child's been bullied until it's almost too late. I don't know why kids. I'm fascinated by bullying because I was such a loner as a kid, and when I was teased, it didn't bother me because I had a strong family home, in a nice family home. But I'm fascinated because I wonder why children take the opinions of other children to heart the way they do. I don't understand why that happens. But unfortunately, again, they hold in their feelings. They don't tell their parents until it's almost too late. Sometimes these kids commit suicide, and the parents have no idea what happened. When the parents, for example, if the child does tell the parent, well, Bobby Smith is bullying me, and the parents try to take it to the school and try to involve the teachers and the principal, very often they don't want to get involved. They really don't. Unless it's something horrendous, like there's been some violence or actual fighting. And very often, if you take it to the parents of the children, if they're bullies themselves, you're not going to be very successful. It's really a tough thing to deal with. And I really wish that kids could be taught to be stronger. Because if you stand here in front of me and say, you're fat, that's not going to bother me. I mean, what does that mean? And that means nothing to me. If you mean nothing to me, why would your words mean nothing to me? So I hope that eventually women and children, and I guess men, the ones who are bullied, can learn that these people, in fact, my favorite saying when I was a kid, whenever I was bullied, I'd say, you're not paying my rent. In other words, you mean nothing to me. My parents are paying, well, actually it was mortgage, but you know what I mean. So even as a kid, I knew that strangers' opinions are just, they mean nothing.
So why do you think trolls do what they do?
You know, I honestly
why do you think they just do
that,
it?
Because we're relatively anonymous on the internet. I think for the first time they feel empowered to be nasty to people.
Because there are no consequences currently. There are no consequences for what they do.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see it, but two things that have come to mind about whilst you were talking. There was a young lady on YouTube, and I'm really sorry, I can't remember her name. But she put out a post saying how she had spent her life on YouTube, just being a normal YouTuber, putting videos out, makeup tutorials, lifestyle bits and pieces, as you know, people do.
You know, and is it just me? But I don't want to.
She almost became obsessed with online validation.
Okay, your voice is breaking up to the point where I don't. Is her voice breaking up for you?
Yeah. The connection's a bit poor there. Can you try saying that again, Maxi?
Can you hear me now?
The audio.
Okay. Sorry. Okay.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
There was a
yes.
lady on YouTube who put parts of her life out there, did makeup tutorials, lifestyle things, and she did a video stating she was coming off YouTube and all social media because she became obsessed with validation of how many followers she had on a picture or how many people had viewed a video. And I think where there is a generation now that are obsessed with social media. I mean, it wasn't around when I grew up, but I think now that there is this obsession with social media and people are not going out and making friends and they are sitting behind their keyboards. Unfortunately, that gives keyboard warriors even more of their lives to look at. And I think if maybe we took a step back from social media, then maybe there's less for people to go out there and bully about us, because like you said, we are anonymous. People don't know us. All they see is what we give to a camera or what we put on a picture. They don't know who we are as people, and the internet is essentially soulless. So I think maybe if the generation of people that are being cyberbullied, and certainly children, maybe if they didn't have quite so much access to social media and got back on their push bikes in the street, then
Yeah.
there would be a lot less bullying in the world.
But for those who are on the internet, you can't really keep kids away from social media because of the obsession, and because nowadays you are expected to use your computer for homework now. So they're going to be on the internet. But again, I really think kids need to be taught whose opinion to respect and whose to discard. I think it's very key, because this validation that really made me think, because I was always thinking about it from the bullying point of the child worrying about the bullies. I'd never thought about the child wanting to be validated. I think that they do want to be answered immediately. They want to be friended and liked immediately. And I think maybe that's where some of the obsession lies. That's a problem. That's a real problem. But I honestly think that the key to a lot of bullying, I think some kids are going to be mean regardless. But I think on the other hand, kids need to realize, well, Johnny's an idiot. So, of course, a parent would not speak that way. But I'm just saying, consider that Johnny does not have it all together. So his opinion can't possibly amount to much. Yeah. So don't be so worried about it.
And we just got thanks for that. We just got a message just coming in saying from Soul Broadcasting, Kevin, it's good to see you on Anchor. And just before we finish the interview, I just want to touch base with you two. If you've not come across Anchor, it's a new social media platform, and it's really, really good. I've not come across any trolls on that just yet, but it's a really, really good platform. And it's a really good social media platform to get the message out there, to engage with people and to connect with people. But I want to thank you both for coming on. I want to thank the three of you for coming on today's show. And we'll be touching next Monday on cyber safety. So that's 6 p.m. next Monday UK
Kevin,
time.
Sorry to interrupt you. For any of you that are still logged in, I don't know how many of you are UK-based or America-based. However, there is a online channel which is called 4 OD, and on there you can watch a film that was done by the younger girl from Game of Thrones, a UK actress, and it's actually called Cyberbully. And if you watch that, it is a very poignant film of how something that she innocently puts on a Facebook page suddenly turns around to her getting trolled, when she actually thinks it was her who made the comment, and how these things get out of hand. So anyone can watch that film. I think it's about 90 minutes long, called Cyberbully, with the girl from Game of Thrones. Very much worth a watch.
Okay, I'll check that out. And also, there's a gentleman who has a website called Parent Dome, and he is a UK friend. So now there's a Parent Dome UK. But basically, he teaches people how to keep their children safe on the internet as well. He deals with a lot of this stuff firsthand. It's really difficult. His job is quite difficult, but he has taken it upon himself to teach parents how to keep their kids safe on the internet.
Oh, great. Could you put that in the chat box?
I'm
then
just
below?
guessing. I think it's parentdome.com, but let's see. Oops.
And Maxi, if you want to put any links in the chat box, and if you can see the chat box.
I just need to move Beni out of the way for a second. What I'll do for anyone watching who's interested in what I do, I will put up our website for you. Don't have that.
Did that work for you, Parent Dome? Were you able to click on that and get anywhere with it?
I'll check that out in a second, because
I'm not sure if that's...
my computer's about to freeze at the moment.
Oh yes.
But what I'll do once I'll post this out on YouTube after, and it'll go out on YouTube, and I'll post links out as well, so you can actually add your links on the YouTube, and I'll tweet you them links as well, and Facebook you the links as well. So thanks again for joining me today. It's been a pleasure to have you both on, and hope to connect with you both again soon. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye.